Good morning, everyone. I'll call this meeting of the NCUA Board to order. The first item on our agenda today is the 2019 Annual Performance Plan. Staff presenting Eugene Sheed, Deputy Chief Financial Officer Jim Holm, Supervisory Budget Analyst, and Lindsay Courage, Management Analyst, Office of the Chief Financial Officer. Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman McWaters, Board Member Metzger. Jim, Lindsay, and I are here to discuss the NCUA's 2019 Annual Performance Plan and ask for the Board to approve it. This document is significant to the NCUA because it, in conjunction with the agency's strategic plan and budget, provides a roadmap for the agency's workforce and our stakeholders and interested parties about the specific strategies and initiatives the NCUA plans to undertake over the next year, both in response to and in anticipation of ongoing changes in the financial sector and in credit unions. The Government Performance and Results Act, as updated in 2018, provides specific direction for federal agencies on strategic planning and performance management. The Board approved the current NCUA strategic plan at its January 2018 meeting. The strategic plan is a foundational document that sets a multi-year direction for the agency's actions and prioritization of resources, whereas the annual performance plan, which is guided by the strategic plan, provides greater specificity into the performance metrics and milestones the NCUA will track to achieve the vision and goals of the strategic plan. The performance plan is updated annually in order to demonstrate progress toward reaching NCUA strategic goals and establishes targets for the agency to achieve in the upcoming year. The performance plan also incorporates the goals and objectives set forth in the NCUA's Diversity and Inclusion Strategic Plan, which was released to the public after the Board approved the agency-wide strategic plan. Jim Holm, NCUA's Director of Strategy and Budget, will next describe the process we used in developing this annual performance plan. Following Jim, Lindsay Courage, our lead analyst for performance management, will discuss the contents of the annual performance plan.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Board Member Metzger. In our agency's continued effort to integrate planning with budgeting, we worked with offices throughout the NCUA to develop the 2019 Annual Performance Plan concurrently with the 2019-2020 budget, which you reviewed and approved in November. NCUA offices were required to justify how funding requests for new and ongoing projects and for changes in staffing will help the NCUA achieve its strategic goals and objectives. As part of the budget process, we also asked offices to identify specific performance indicators that will demonstrate the results of the budget's investments. This annual performance plan, in combination with the budget, shows how the NCUA will execute on its strategic plan in 2019. The NCUA's strategic plan contains 3 goals, which are 1, ensure a safe and sound credit union system, 2, provide a regulatory framework that is transparent, efficient, and improves consumer access, and 3, maximize organizational performance to enable mission success. Our strategic plan is a framework for leadership's decisions about major programs, priorities, performance goals, and budgets. During development of the 2019 Annual Performance Plan, we worked to integrate offices' individual strategies and planning efforts that support the strategic plan. For example, we highlight how each office at the NCUA has a responsibility to contribute to achieving the goals set forth in the NCUA Diversity and Inclusion Strategic Plan. The Annual Performance Plan also documents the strategic actions that offices will take to achieve employee engagement goals that have been set by the NCUA's executive leadership. Now let me turn to Lindsay Courage, who can give you a synopsis of the annual performance plan itself.
Jim, good morning. As Eugene and Jim have highlighted, the annual performance plan is built on the foundation provided by the strategic plan and provides more detailed information about agency programs, such as measurable targets and milestones for each goal established in the strategic plan. The annual performance plan also states the actions and activities the NCUA will perform to accomplish its strategic goals. It explains how the agency will monitor progress in relevant areas of its operations, and identifies priority actions for the year from among the performance goals. For 2019, the NCUA's 3 priority performance goals are to fully and efficiently execute the requirements of the agency's examination and supervision program, to promulgate efficient, targeted regulation tailored to offer meaningful relief without undermining safety and soundness, and to implement secure, reliable, and innovative technology solutions. The CFO's office is responsible for measuring and reporting on progress implementing the strategies necessary to meet the agency's performance goals. Indicators in the annual performance plan include those related to resolving troubled credit unions in a timely manner, measuring the share insurance fund's equity ratio, executing on the agency's regulatory reform task force final report, and developing and implementing the modern examination and risk identification tool. Although today's agenda item is for approval of the 2019 annual performance plan, I would like to remind everyone that NCUA also publishes a retrospective annual report, which the CFO's office is hard at work developing. The annual report for 2018 will include a line-by-line update showing the NCUA's progress in each of the performance measures set for last year and discuss the reasons for any variance or change in performance trends over the past 12 months. In the year in review section, the annual report will also include statistics and figures demonstrating the results of the NCUA's daily operations, such as information about share insurance fund dividends and payments for credit union failures, an analysis of consumer financial protection activities by the Office of Consumer Financial Protection, and a review of the share of contracts awarded to minority and women-owned businesses. Previewing some of these results, I'm pleased to report that the NCUA is on target to have more than 800,000 visitors to the consumer-focused MyCreditUnion.gov and has awarded nearly 42% of its contracts by value to minority and women-owned businesses through the third quarter of 2018, an increase over the agency's 2017 performance, which was the highest of any FIREA agency. We anticipate having the NCUA annual report published in March. Thank you for your time. This concludes our presentation. We're happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. This report represents a tremendous amount of work and most appreciative. I don't really have any questions. I would just like to draw everyone's attention to our strategic objective 3.1. And I'll read it. It just says to attract, engage, and retain a highly skilled, diverse workforce and cultivate an inclusive environment. Well, you know, those are easy words to say. I think everyone says those words now. It's something else to actually be doing something about it, to actually have a group of people, or OMWI group and others who are working in this area. So we can talk the talk, but can we walk the walk? So let's look at our senior staff level at the NCUA. Looking at women, for example, from 2017 to 2018, we increased by 5%, 5 percentage points. Minorities at the senior staff level increased from 2017 to 2018 by 21%. Very material, to me, impressive numbers. Our current workforce across the board from 2017 to 2018, total minority representation increased about 6%. Very impressive moves over the course of 1 year. So we are talking it, but we're also making it happen. Also should add that we have added within the NCUA members of the LGBTQ community to our diversity program. It's very important to me. I think it's very important to the board. I think it's very important to this agency that we do that. We create a diverse environment where members of this community, LGBTQ community, are totally comfortable working here, and there is no need whatsoever for them under any circumstances to hide their status. We welcome you. Thank you. Mr. Metzger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just say 2 things. Number one, thanks for working with our office on modifications on some of these, which should, in our view, is really designed to provide focus on measurable the outcomes. Like what does this mean? How do I know? And as the chairman just mentioned, in some of the data he has provided, it's important so you can take the generic and actually be able to illustrate specific. And so some of the changes that we've made, I think, help do that, as well as the commitment in looking forward to next year is to see how we can have measurable outcomes so that, you get beyond, as the chair mentioned, everybody says X, but how do I know, that we're doing things here? And I think the refinement of this is constantly improving, and it also allows, as the chairman mentioned too, to be able to point out things such as, our contracting goals. Not only do we have goals, we're promoting X, Y, Z, but the outcome is doing that. And anytime that you have in any organization, you have strategic objectives, you need to have, specific goals, because that's when it's top of mind and decisions that are happening day in and day out, it keeps you focused on providing that outcome. So I appreciate all the hard work. I know how much hard work it is to do this every year, and the fact that we continue to refine it and getting better at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move the board approve the 2019 annual performance plan as attached to the board action memorandum.
I second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show the motion passed 2-0. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The second item on our agenda is board briefing, civil money penalty, statutory inflation adjustment. Staff presenting Marvin Shaw, Staff Attorney, Office of the Town Council. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman McWaters, Board Member Metzger. I'm here to brief the board on the annual mandatory civil money penalty inflation adjustments. By statute, agencies with CMP authority are required to make these adjustments each January. The final rule here is issued pursuant to a board notation vote on January 4th in order to meet the statutory deadline for publishing the rule. Under the statute, adjustments may be issued pursuant to a final rule without the need for a proposal. Also, agencies lack discretion to vary the calculations that are prescribed by the statute and in annual guidance by the Office of Management and Budget. The increase for this year is about 2.5%. The adjusted maximum levels will be published in the Code of Federal Regulations. One important note is that agencies are not required to assess the new maximum levels. For the first 3 quarters of calendar year 2018, the NCUA issued about 22 CMPs for a total of about $8,800, and the median was about $402. I'm available for any questions.
I have no questions. Thank you, Mark.
I have that here. Thank you, John.
Okay,
Thank you. The third item on our agenda is the Illinois Member Business Loan Rule. Staff presenting Sherry Freed, Regional Director, Western Regional Office. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman McWaters and Board Member Metzger. I am here today to recommend the NCUA Board approve the Illinois Member Business and Commercial Loan Rule as amended. Part 723 of the NCUA Rules and Regs provide for state supervisory authorities to administer a member business loan rule, provided the rule at least covers the provisions in 723 and is no less restrictive. The state of Illinois' rule meets these requirements. Illinois is requesting an amendment to its rule, which would change the definition of the member business loans to exclude loans fully secured by a lien of 1 to 4 family dwellings and to exclude them from the aggregate limit. The proposed amendment mirrors recent changes to the Federal Credit Union Act and the NCUA's rules and regulations. The NCUA Board originally approved the MBL rule on June 20th, 2013, and an amendment on April 20th, 2017 to reflect changes to our rule. The offices of General Counsel and Examination and Insurance concur. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much. I have no questions. It just seems like Illinois, for state law purposes, is following recent changes to federal law.
That's it.
Thank you.
I have no questions.
Is there a motion?
I move the board approve the Illinois Member Business Loan Rule as attached to the board action memorandum.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show the motion passed 2-0. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
The last item on our agenda today is board briefing, redesign of NCUA.gov, staff presenting Ben Hardaway, Senior Communications Specialist, Office of Public and Congressional Affairs. Welcome.
Wow.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman McWaters and Board Member Metzger. Thank you for the opportunity today to present the agency's new public website. NCUA.gov is the primary means for stakeholders to learn about the agency's mission, values, policies, initiatives, and strategic goals. While the audiences for NCUA's website are diverse, they all have the same basic need: to get the information they need to make important financial and business decisions quickly and easily. Because of this, the website must be well organized, searchable, and accessible on a variety of platforms, including mobile devices like tablets and smartphones. At the beginning of 2018, a project team comprised of staff from the offices of the Chief Information Officer and Public and Congressional Affairs began redesigning NCUA.gov. Our goal was to create a new website that was user-friendly, accessible, searchable, and secure. To accomplish this, the team focused on two areas. The first was improving the website from a technical perspective. This included replacing the website's content management system, creating new mobile responsive templates, along with implementing other improvements to ensure the website complied with the security standards and requirements for federal websites. The second dealt with the functionality, organization, searchability, and content of the website. During the spring of 2018, we surveyed more than 200 internal and external users. We asked them what were we doing right, what were we doing wrong, and where we should focus our efforts. Based on the survey's findings and our team's own analysis, we focused on 5 areas during the redesign: revising the homepage, improving the accessibility and usability of the navigation, developing new data-driven content features, improving the site's overall search function, and improving the site's consistency and quality assurance. On the homepage, we instituted a simpler design that provides our users with shortcuts to our most visited content for quick and easy access. We also developed a dynamic news feed where users can access the latest agency news and information, and an events calendar that lists upcoming events, webinars, and regulatory deadlines. On the left side of the screen, you'll see our new homepage as it appears on a desktop or laptop. On the right side of the screen is an image of the homepage on a mobile device. We improved the usability and accessibility of the site's navigation by developing new drop-down menus and sub-menus, and by adding breadcrumbs to the top of each web page to help our users navigate through each level of the website. An example of the new drop-down menus is shown on this slide. Examples of the new sub-menus, noted by the arrow, and breadcrumbs circled at the top of the page are illustrated on this second slide. We also created new data-driven content features. For example, users can now search the agency's letters to credit unions and other guidance letters by keyword, document type, subject, and the year was issued. Our users can also employ the feature's filtering and sorting tools, noted by the arrow, to help them further refine their search results. Legal opinions, board appeals, press releases, listings of conserved and liquidated credit unions, and corporate credit union guidance letters that are available on the public website are also searchable and have similar filtering and sorting tools. The area of the website that needed the most improvement was the site's search function. To address this, we implemented a new search engine for the website. We also added keywords throughout the website's content. Keywords are the essential elements necessary for successfully searching for content on a website or through a search engine like Google. We focused our efforts on the website's most visited pages, on press releases, and on the agency's regulatory and supervisory guidance letters and information. Lastly, we completed an audit of the website's content to improve its consistency and overall quality. Based on the review's findings, we made any necessary updates and edits. We also developed new landing pages and a new career section to aid in the agency's recruitment initiatives. On this slide, we'll see our new About NCUA landing page, which features information about the agency's mission, leadership, the NCUA board, the Inspector General, careers, and our diversity inclusion initiatives. The image on the left side of the screen shows the page as it would appear on a desktop or laptop, and the image on the right side shows it on a smartphone. As you can see, we made a number of improvements to the public website. The results of these efforts is a new NCUA.gov that is more user-friendly, accessible, searchable, and secure. In 2019, we'll continue to make further improvements to the website based on the feedback received from our initial user survey and since the website launched at the beginning of the year. We encourage our users to send us their comments and suggestions for future improvements to NCUA.gov by email to packawebeditor, all one word, at NCUA.gov. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Ben. This is tremendous. You know, I felt like when I was dealing with the prior NCUA web, which honestly I avoided whenever I could, I was playing Where's Waldo, particularly on the search function. It was anachronistic, and that's probably a nice way to put it. What we have here is fantastic, and Ben, it's largely to give you credit for that. Thank you very much for shouldering this. I know at times it probably seemed like a thankless task, but let's keep in mind what Ben said towards the end of his remarks. This is a work in progress. This is not a done deal. This is not cast in stone here. So, you know, we have launched what we think is our best efforts right now today, but tomorrow it may change. Please give us your feedback and let's improve this website to the extent it needs to be improved and as times change and as demands of the website change. Thank you very much, Ben, again, and thank you to members of the credit union community who took the time to actually give us input on the survey that Ben and others circulated. Mr. Metzger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I know Mike Radway and myself, we both had those same frustrations over the years. I guess that's why they call it the web. And it is so much better now. In fact, we just did a real-time search. Your name, you put in your name, it comes up over 200 times on the web page. Ben, yours only comes up 13, so you got some catch up to do. I do have and it is so much easier. It's, you know, as you know, and why this was initiated by your department is that so many things that you would think would be intuitive were not where you thought they would be, and they were connected. And especially on regulations were things that that you needed to take in concert to know what to do. You think they would be together, and they weren't always together. Mm-hmm. And I know we've done that in terms of our regulatory notices to credit unions and throughout the whole agency, trying to put stuff that is commonly together, so you don't have to look for everything that way. And I've navigated it a number of times. It is so much better. And as the chairman mentioned, it always is a work in progress. So as you see things, you know, we'll be able to make modifications. I just have one question: is that when you get to a web page, whatever, and in our case, there are certain times in which you can predict what people will be coming to the web page for, right? Mm-hmm. So when the board, for example, issues a ruling asking for comment, we know that people are going to go to the web page and they're going to want to make a comment, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, because that's during that time frame, especially if it's an active issue, that's what they're going to the web page for. And so, will we have some in those cases? Will we have some, you know, front page highlighting, like, you know, comment now on new XYZ rule or whatever, so they'll know right away, or click here if you want to comment on something the board has recently done, rather than trying to find, okay, where do I find the comment thing I just heard about? Would there be some kind of, you know, front page direction for something like that?
So as more users use the website, we will adjust the listings, the shortcuts on the homepage to match whatever need we find our users asking for. In addition, I would direct our users to the events calendar. We are going to regularly update that with key regulatory deadlines that will link back to the Federal Register notice with the details about the comments and how they should do that.
Right.
We will also employ other tools. Our social media channels, Twitter and LinkedIn in particular, are very effective in sort of pulling our audience to our website and to the key information they're looking for. So we will employ those tools.
Great. Glad to hear that. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you. So maybe we can come up with a one-click commenting and then get a business use patent on that and license it to the other agencies, and then, you know, have no more assessments.
I'll get to work on that.
Yeah, to get to work on that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate it. Well, that's the end of our agenda today. There being no further business, we are hereby adjourned. Thank you.